Welcome to a special comprehensive deep dive into what has rapidly become the most captivating, electrifying, and entirely unexpected storyline of this year's French Open. We are broadcasting to you with breaking news and extensive analysis from the heart of the tennis world, where the red clay of Roland Garros is currently vibrating with an energy that has taken tournament organizers, casual spectators, and seasoned analysts completely by surprise. If you were walking the grounds of the Paris Open over the last 48 hours, you would have undoubtedly noticed a disruption in the usual rhythm of the tournament's practice days. Typically, the days leading up to the main draw of a Grand Slam are characterized by a quiet, focused hum. Players go about their routines on the outer courts, accompanied by the rhythmic thud of tennis balls, the occasional squeak of sliding shoes on clay, and perhaps a smattering of dedicated tennis purists watching from the bleachers. But what unfolded at Court 4 was a magnificent departure from the norm. Thousands of fans converged, creating an absolute spectacle that left many bystanders bewildered and confused. Casual fans and international media members wandered toward the commotion, drawn by deafening cheers, rhythmic chanting, and a sea of waving flags. The sheer volume of the crowd suggested that a retiring legend or a multiple-time Grand Slam champion, perhaps Novak Djokovic or even returning Rafael Nadal, was gracing the practice courts. The walkways were impassable. The security personnel had to reorganize barricades. The atmosphere was nothing short of a stadium-level fever pitch. But as those confused onlookers peered to the chain-link fences and over the shoulders of the packed crowd, they did not see a grizzled veteran of the sport. Instead, they saw a 21-year-old rising superstar. They saw Alexandra Eala. The Filipina tennis sensation is officially back, and she has brought a tidal wave of global support with her to the French capital. What was supposed to be a standard, rigorous 60-minute practice session and tune-up against Croatian player Antonija Ruzic quickly mutated into a cultural event. The crowd was overwhelmingly composed of passionate Filipino expats who had traveled from all corners of Europe, transforming a simple training hour into a vibrant festival of national pride. Eala, currently ranked 38th in the world, found herself at the epicenter of a viral phenomenon. Videos of the colossal crowd flooded social media, making her one of the most talked about athletes on the planet before the tournament had even officially begun. This is no longer just about a talented player hitting forehands and backhands on the dirt. This is about a transcendent cultural icon realizing the sheer magnitude of her influence. Today, we are going to unpack every single layer of this extraordinary moment. We will analyze the immense pressure and expectations resting on her young shoulders, her profound connection to her mentor Rafael Nadal, her evolution as a formidable threat on clay courts, and the daunting path that lies ahead in the main draw, starting with her blockbuster first-round clash against American standout Ivanovic. We are going to explore the psychology of handling this level of fame, the socioeconomic impact of her rise, and what her success means for the future of tennis in Southeast Asia. Buckle up, because this is a definitive analysis of Alexandra Eala's Roland Garros campaign. To truly understand the gravity of what happened at Court 4, we have to look past the surface-level spectacle and examine the deeply rooted sociological phenomenon of the Filipino diaspora and their unparalleled passion for their global representatives. The Republic of the Philippines is a nation of over 100 million people, with millions more living and working abroad. For decades, the country has rallied fiercely behind its boxing champions, its beauty queens, and its basketball stars. But tennis, a sport historically dominated by Europeans and Americans, has rarely seen a Southeast Asian player command a global stage with such undeniable force. Alexandra Eala is breaking that mold, shattering the glass ceiling with every thunderous ground stroke. The thousands of fans who caused such beautiful confusion at her practice session did not just happen to be in Paris. They bought tickets, took time off from their jobs, and crossed borders specifically to witness history. Eala herself has admitted to experiencing a profound shift in her perspective regarding her fan base. Earlier in her career, she confessed to being in a state of denial about her fame. She would see the crowds growing and humbly assume it was a passing phase or a coincidence. But as the 2026 season commenced, the reality became undeniable. The crowds were not just consistent. They were multiplying. She realized that she had crossed the threshold from being a promising prospect to a bona fide marquee attraction. Accepting this level of adoration requires a monumental psychological adjustment. She went from thinking she wasn't truly famous to realizing she had to absorb it, accept it, and step into the role of a national ambassador. But with this level of adulation comes an intense, almost suffocating wave of pressure. During the pre-tournament media day, Eala spoke with remarkable maturity about the emotional weight she carries. She acknowledged the immense love she receives, stating that it makes her feel profoundly proud and grateful. Yet, she also highlighted the delicate balancing act required to survive in the elite echelons of professional tennis. The emotional challenges in this sport do not solely emanate from the crowd. They come from the agonizing isolation of court, the internal battle against one's own doubts, and the relentless, grueling nature of the tour. Eala understands that her first obligation must be to herself and her craft. She has spoken openly about the necessity of finding the healthiest way to manage the external noise, recognizing that allowing the euphoric highs of fan support to dictate her emotional state could be just as detrimental as succumbing to the frustration of a tough loss. This grounded, pragmatic approach to sports psychology is rare in a 21-year-old athlete. It speaks to a level of mental conditioning that separates the good players from the truly great ones. Eala is not just learning how to hit a heavier topspin forehand. She is learning how to be the CEO of her own towering brand, how to compartmentalize the roar of thousands of fans, and how to execute her game plan when the expectations of an entire region are bearing down upon her. Let's transition our focus to her physical and tactical preparation, because the evolution of Alexandra Eala on clay has been a masterclass in dedication. Clay is widely considered the most physically and mentally demanding surface in tennis. It neutralizes power, rewards patience, demands extraordinary cardiovascular endurance, and requires a highly specific movement pattern involving sliding into shots to maintain balance. Last year, Eala made her French Open main draw debut and faced a harsh reality check, suffering a first-round defeat at the hands of Colombia's Emiliana Arango. It was a learning moment, a stark reminder of the steep learning curve required to master the dirt. But Eala did not retreat. Instead, she immersed herself in the process of improvement. Heading into this year's tournament, she has boldly declared that she feels vastly more prepared. She has acknowledged her improvement on the surface, noting that her enhanced skill set has directly helped her manage the unique challenges that clay presents. Her preparation included a rigorous stint in Rome at the Foro Italico, followed by a deeply competitive, albeit grueling, 3-set battle in Strasbourg against Alexandra Eala. While that match in Strasbourg ended in a loss, it served as a perfect crucible, tested her physical limits, and sharpening her match fitness for the grueling best-of-3-set battles that await in Paris. She enters Roland Garros not just as a participant, but as a seasoned competitor who knows exactly what it takes to grind out victories in the Parisian dust. It is impossible to discuss Alexandra Eala's proficiency on clay without analyzing the monumental influence of her mentor, the undisputed king of clay, Rafael Nadal. Eala's journey is inextricably linked to the Rafael Nadal Academy in Mallorca, Spain, an institution she joined at the tender age of 12. Leaving her family and her homeland behind, she relocated to Europe to immerse herself in an environment built upon the core values of the 22-time Grand Slam champion: relentless hard work, unwavering humility, and an indomitable fighting spirit. The academy did not just refine her technique, it forged her character. She absorbed the ethos of a champion. Eala has openly stated that anything she can take from Rafa, she will take with immense pride. And this is not mere lip service. Following her breakthrough last season, where she firmly established herself inside the world top 50, Eala experienced a full-circle moment that most players can only dream of. She became the first person to hit with Rafael Nadal following his retirement. She described the experience as crazy and physically demanding, admitting to battling intense nerves. But hitting with Nadal is more than just a practice session. It is a transfer of knowledge, an initiation into the highest fraternity of tennis excellence. When Eala steps onto the courts of Roland Garros, she carries with her the tactical blueprints and the psychological armor forged in the very academy built by the man who won this tournament a staggering 14 times. The heavy topspin, the refusal to concede a single point, the ability to suffer and find joy in the physical exertion. These are the hallmarks of Nadal's legacy, and they are rapidly becoming the defining characteristics of Eala's game. Now, we must turn our attention to the immediate challenge at hand, the opening round of the 2026 French Open. The main draw ceremony has dealt Eala a formidable opponent in the form of Iva Jovic, the fiercely talented American who enters the tournament as the 17th seed. This matchup is widely regarded as one of the most highly anticipated blockbuster clashes of the first round. It is a collision of two vastly different tennis trajectories and styles. Jovic is known for her blistering baseline game, her exceptional court coverage, and her aggressive, commanding presence. She is a rising star in her own right, carrying the expectations of the American tennis establishment. Eala, on the other hand, brings her newly refined clay court prowess, her tactical versatility, and, of course, the unquantifiable X factor of her massive crowd support. Despite Jovic's higher seeding and undeniable power, Eala has maintained a remarkably poised and unfazed demeanor. She has publicly expressed her excitement for the match, emphasizing that she has done the necessary preparation and feels entirely ready for the challenge. Her mindset is remarkably liberating. She believes she has nothing to lose and everything to gain. This lack of fear, combined with the guarantee of at least €87,000 in prize money just for stepping onto the court, allows Eala to play with a sense of financial and professional security, freeing her to execute her high-risk, high-reward strategy without the paralyzing fear of failure. This first-round match is not just a test of Eala's physical skills. It is the ultimate litmus test of her mental fortitude. Can she harness the chaotic energy of her fan base and channel it into laser-focused execution against a top-tier opponent? Beyond the individual implications of this match, we have to recognize Alexandra Eala's role as the vanguard of a burgeoning tennis renaissance in Southeast Asia. For too long, the global tennis narrative has been dominated by North America, Europe, and occasionally Australia. But Eala is not alone in her ascent. She is part of a wave of regional talent, making significant strides on the professional tour. Eala has spoken passionately about her peers, including Indonesian standout Chen and Thai players Lanlana Terudi and Maninkaya Sawanki, who are all pushing toward the upper echelons of the sport. Eala has beautifully described the shared cultural bonds, the similar sense of humor, and the deep, collective pride that unites these players. They are not just competing for themselves. They are competing to legitimize their region on the global tennis map. Eala, with her staggering media reach and her top 40 ranking, has naturally assumed the role of the trailblazer. The phenomenon affectionately known as the Sisters, a nod to their Southeast Asian roots and sisterly bond, highlights a supportive ecosystem that counters the often isolating nature of the WTA Tour. When Eala succeeds, she illuminates a path for thousands of young girls across the Philippines, Indonesia, Thailand, and beyond, proving that the highest levels of professional tennis are not an unattainable dream, reserved for those born in traditional tennis strongholds. Her presence at Roland Garros, drawing crowds that rival the sport's greatest legends, is a definitive statement that the geography of tennis power is actively shifting, and Southeast Asia is demanding its rightful place at the table. Furthermore, we must analyze the commercial and broadcast implications of the Alexandra Eala phenomenon. The thousands of fans who gather at Court 4 are just a physical manifestation of a massive digital and economic footprint. Broadcasters, sponsors, and tournament directors are acutely aware of the metrics she generates. Her matches guarantee high viewership numbers, not just locally, but across multiple time zones as her home nation stays up into the early hours of the morning to watch her compete. She guarantees engagement. She guarantees merchandise sales. She is, simply put, a marketer's dream. Yet, what makes Eala so compelling is that this commercial power has not diluted her authenticity. She remains fiercely dedicated to the sport, prioritizing her training and her mental health above the allure of celebrity. Her team has carefully curated her schedule and her media appearances to ensure that the fame serves the tennis, rather than the tennis becoming a mere vehicle for fame. The fact that her practice session went viral is organic proof of her magnetic appeal. It wasn't manufactured by a public relations firm. It was a spontaneous, passionate outpouring of a fan base that has found a hero worth celebrating. This organic connection is a holy grail of sports marketing, and Alexandra Eala possesses it in abundance. As she navigates the intense media scrutiny of the French Open, her ability to remain grounded while simultaneously embracing her role as a global icon will be a defining narrative of her career. As we zoom out and look at the broader picture of this tournament, It is clear that Alexandra Eala has already achieved a massive victory before even striking her first competitive serve. She has commanded the attention of the global sporting press. She has turned a routine practice session into headline news. She has demonstrated that a player's impact is not solely measured by their ranking or their trophy cabinet, but by their ability to move people, to inspire a nation, and to create an atmosphere of pure, unadulterated joy. The thousands of fans who gathered, chanted, and waved their flags at Roland Garros were not confused. They knew exactly what they were witnessing. They were witnessing the maturation of a star. They were witnessing a 21-year-old woman confidently stepping into her immense potential. Whether she wins or loses against Iva Jovic in the first round, the indelible image of that massive crowd at court 4 will remain one of the defining moments of the 2026 French Open. In conclusion, the story of Alexandra Eala in Paris is a multidimensional epic that transcends the boundaries of a simple sporting event. We have examined the unprecedented scenes of a practice session, analyzing how a tidal wave of Filipino expat support transformed a quiet Thursday afternoon into a viral global spectacle. We have delved deeply into the immense psychological burden she carries as the face of a nation, and praised her remarkable maturity in prioritizing her mental health and balancing the weight of expectation with her own personal ambitions. We have chronicled her painstaking evolution on the challenging clay courts, tracing her development from a first-round exit last year to a confident, thoroughly prepared competitor ready to take on the world's best. We explore the invaluable, deeply personal influence of her mentor, Rafael Nadal, highlighting how the ethos of his academy has shaped her into a fierce, resilient warrior on the dirt. We previewed the tactical complexities of her highly anticipated first-round clash against the powerful American seed, Iva Jovic, noting Eala's fearless mindset and her liberated approach to the match. Furthermore, we contextualize her rise within the broader narrative of Southeast Asian tennis, celebrating her role as a trailblazer who is dismantling geographical barriers and inspiring a new generation of players across her region. And finally, we analyze her immense commercial and cultural power, proving that her organic, magnetic appeal makes her one of the most valuable and important figures in the future of the sport. Alexandra Eala is no longer just a heartwarming story of a young prodigy trying to make her mark. She is an established force, a cultural phenomenon, and a genuine threat on the WTA Tour. She has learned to harness the chaotic, beautiful energy of her massive fan base, turning what could be a paralyzing distraction into a powerful source of motivation. As the French Open officially gets underway, the eyes of the tennis world and the hearts of millions of Filipinos will be fixed firmly upon her. The red clay of Roland Garros is a surface that demands suffering, patience, and an unbreakable will. Based on everything we have seen, everything she has said, and the incredible preparation she has put in, Alexandra Eala is ready to suffer, she is ready to fight, and she is unequivocally ready to shine. This is a defining moment in her young career, a chance to validate the hype and prove that she belongs on the grandest stages of the sport. The fans have done their part. They have arrived in their thousands, they have made their voices heard, and they have provided an atmosphere unlike any other. Now, it is up to Alexandra. The stage is set, the racket is in her hand, and the world is watching. Thank you for joining us for this extensive deep dive into the Alexandra Eala phenomenon at the Paris Open. We will be following her journey every step of the way, providing you with detailed match analyses, post-match reactions, and continuous coverage of her campaign. If you found this breakdown insightful, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and share this video with your fellow tennis fans. We want to hear from you. Drop into the comment section below and let us know your predictions for Eala's first-round match against Iva Jovic. Can she orchestrate the upset and make a deep run in Paris? Let the debate begin. Stay tuned for more comprehensive tennis coverage, breaking news, and deep dive analytics right here on our channel. Until next time, keep your eye on the ball and enjoy the phenomenal tennis that Roland Garros has to offer. Goodbye for now.